Hello there, I'm Gen Free King. I am a big fan of Pokemon if my name was any tip-off. Today I would like to borrow a moment of your time to talk about Pokemon Scarlet and about it. I am of the firm opinion that these are good games in spite of their flaws and the valid criticisms of them. The many criticism of them. I want to go over one part I like in particular though, a part that I think it does better than most other games in the series. Today, I would like to discuss with you why Ogre Oustin is peak Pokemon side activity. First, what should, in my opinion, a Pokemon side activity actually do? We can't claim it to be good at something unless we know what that something's goals are. In my mind, a Pokemon side mode has three basic goals. Goal number one, the rewards have to be actually worthwhile. This is something all the older modes do terribly in. Pokestar Studios gives you mediocre healing items and, if you're lucky, a max revive. That only happens if you do really well at the end of a series of movies. It is at least renewable max revives, but that's as good as it gets. That's terrible for the time investment and for how difficult it is to solve some of those puzzles for the films. Some of them do have okay rewards, but most don't. Contests in the older games are completely worthless. I think, and this is in my script, I'm just going to note it. I think that in Emerald, it's the only way to get luxury balls, or at least a renewable source of luxury balls, and that's about it. In Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, you could get Lucario right for 100% in contests, but at that point, it would be faster to play through X and Y to get Lucario and trade it over than to finish contests, so that's worthless. I mean, at least give players a bag of something that's, you know, not so easy to get. I can get it faster in another game and trade it over in less time. And any other rewards from these side modes tend to be self-contained and worthless. Mantine Surf, Ultra Warp Ride, Dynamax Adventures, they're all pretty great. Mantine Surf gives BP, Ultra Warp Ride that you're trying to hunt to get legendaries, and so does Dynamax Adventures. And Dynamax Adventures give Dynite Ore. However, these are newer side modes. This aspect of the series generally got a lot better as time went on. But, frankly, usually the much deeper side modes didn't give you crap. It's really terrible, truly, how, severe this was in the older games. The second thing a good Pokemon side mode needs is low barrier of entry. Don't even get me started on how bad contests were here. You know, if I wanted to do Dynamax Adventures, I could boot up the game, jump right in. Contests were the worst of the worst here. It could take hours to set up a contest Pokemon. Days, if you count growing the berries. And if you mess up a Pokemon Sheen stat, Pokemon's worthless. Restart from scratch. Get a whole new Pokemon. And that's just abysmally bad in terms of barrier of entry. At least Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire fixed this by removing Sheen. It was a fundamentally flawed mechanic. I will note, just to dunk on them because I hate them, BDSP brought Sheen back. They learned nothing. Meanwhile, Pokestar Studios, as an example, doesn't, tell you how to unlock the movies. It's well, here's the movies, good luck unlocking the rest. And some of them have really specific conditions. Newer minigames are good. As I said, you can dive right into, Dynamax Adventures. Despite some of the movies being difficult to unlock, I can just go into my Pokemon White 2 file and do a bunch of Pokestar Studios movies right now. Not all of them have series specific conditions, and so I can at least play most of them fairly easily. Contests, abysmally bad. I can't just go boot up a game and do contests. I gotta do hours of prep for moves and contest stats and so on, and I can permanently screw up a Pokemon if I don't do it right. Finally, there's musicals, which don't have contest stats and therefore have a low barrier of entry, but they're musicals, and they fail in the third thing and the first thing. They have no rewards, and musicals don't have engaging or fun mechanics, and this is the third thing that an engaging side mode needs to do. Most of the old games actually do really good here. Contests, mechanically, are fantastic, even if there's no reason to actually do them. The only ones that really deserve flack here are, of course, the musicals, and once again, to dunk on them, BDSP, which watered down musicals so much to, make them completely dull and boring. They removed the moves and the strategy and just turned it into a rhythm game. Seriously, what happened with BDSP? I'm going off script for a second, but what happened with BDSP? How do you make a remake worse than the originals? Only Pokemon games I generally consider bad, straight up. Anywho, Mantine Syrup has various tricks you can learn and obstacles to avoid. Contests require you to strategize with the judges, turn order, contest type, and so on. Dynamic Vectors is basically a soft roguelike mode that requires you to plan ahead to beat the legendary and or plan your route in order to get either Pokemon optimal for the future battles or Pokemon you want a shiny of. Most minigames do fine here except for the BDSP contests and musicals. But how does Ogre Oustin succeed in all of these categories? Ogre Oustin succeeds in the vast majority of the criteria to be a good minigame or side mode. First up, the rewards. In my mind, there's three main types of Pokemon players. Casuals who play the main story, maybe do the Pokedex, and then will quit. Collectors, like myself, who shiny hunt and look for rare Pokemon to complete a collection. And competitive players who need items to build competitive teams. The rewards for Ogre Oustin are useful to all three types of players. You can get some sell items for extra money. There's also an emoji itself, which is great for everyone. Casuals who don't even understand EVs can still use them to get extra stats and what they need, even if they're doing so suboptimally. And more advanced players can use them to quickly EV train Pokemon for raids or for competitive play. Then there's the Fresh Start emoji, an easily mass farmable EV reset, the most convenient EV reset we've had, period. Especially since you can get multiple in one game of Ogre Oustin. For competitive players, there's also the Fairy Feather, which can boost the power of fairy moves as an alternative to the Pixie Plate held by Arceus. And some new berries that could be useful for competitive players. Collectors can gain various useful things, as stated before. Emoji can be used to raise raid Pokemon, to farm Herba Mystica for shiny hunting. However, hard mode Ogre Oustin can give Herba Mystica directly, allowing for an alternate method of acquiring it. This is fantastic for shiny hunters and collectors who want to change the pace from raids. This makes Ogre Oustin very useful to collectors as well. Then there's the big one. If you win hard mode, you're given a guaranteed shiny Munchlax. Just a free shiny, then and there. This is perfect. This is what rewards for difficult shrine modes should be. A very valuable but difficult to earn reward. This is great for players as it's fun for casuals to use, but hard to actually get. Casuals can get a free shiny to use for their team just for the flavor of it. An opportunity they may not normally have. Competitive players can collect a shiny if they intend to use Snorlax and VGC. Collectors, well, they usually just want shinies in general. The rewards are fantastic for every type of player, and that is nothing if the mode is unfun. The mode, however, is very fun. It requires quick thinking and strategy to win at higher levels. Players sprint around an area popping balloons to collect 1 of 4 colored berries, forcing players to make quick decisions and adjust on the fly if the balloons they are going for were popped by another player, or if they are short on a specific color. This repents repetitiveness, as it encourages adjusting and adapting to the situation as it evolves. Then there are the wild Pokemon trying to steal the berries you work so hard to collect you have to account for, creating a risk reward of how long you can walk away to harvest more berries. Risk reward that can be countered by it with a dedicated defender, but that adds an element of depth nonetheless. It is easy to understand the mechanics, yet there is emergent and engaging choices to be made at every turn in this mode. It's fantastic. However, I'm afraid this is where my praise ends. Ogre Oustin is an all-tasting mode and easy Herba Mystica. The barrier to entry is low on paper, as the mode is easy to pick up and play, but in practice, this is where Ogre Oustin fails. You can't play with randoms online. As far as I know, hard mode cannot be soloed. Editor's note, this was actually changed in a recent patch that made it possible to solo, but it's still a pretty big flaw that you can't play online with randoms. You have to specifically get a code. Dynamax Adventures do fine here. You can easily solo Dynamax Adventures to play with randoms online. There's no such feature over Oustin. And you may just think, oh, I can enter a random code or just enter a code like 11111111 to find a game. This is not the case. Codes are randomly generated and not impossible to guess. Unless you have friends or a Reddit thread on, I don't know, r/slash Pokeportal usually has one if you're looking. I guess you can just get bent, because you are not getting Munchlax or the Herba Mystica. Granted, again, I wrote the script a while ago, it's kinda old, and this was fixed in a patch. Hard mode is now soloable, but it's really just impractical and a major flaw. It's a lot less fun solo. And again, you can't play with randoms, and Reddit's not gonna last forever. Hard mode would have been functional if playable, if not for the patch. Man, this is part of the script it's really poor, but I'm going to leave it in, because the general point that it's a lot less fun like this, and it's a major flaw of the system for Ogre Oustin does stand. Game Freak, what even happened here? You had it. this is even a scam to sell more online memberships because the membership below won't find you a team. You got it right with Dynamax Adventures require more strategy than this. What went wrong here? You were on the verge of perfection and you cracked yourselves. Overall, though, Ogre Oustin is fantastic. And then again, they did make it soloable, but it's probably going to be impossible to find a team within a year or two. Though, knowing this community, there will probably be a Discord set up by then, so maybe not all is lost. However, this does make Ogre Oustin pretty inaccessible for most players, which is a massive failure. It's the big Achilles heel, the one major weakness. But that's why Ogre Oustin is, in my mind, one of the best side modes ever made. And again, you can solo a hard mode now. The script is no outdated in that front, so they made it even better. I do wonder what other side modes give shiny Pokemon as a reward for a highly difficult recording challenge. Maybe we could discuss that another time. I do want to know what y'all's opinions on Ogre Oustin and the DLC are. I would love to hear it in the comments below. But let's keep it respectful, yeah? I understand that Gen 9 is divisive, but I prefer we respect the opinions of others. Have a great day, everyone.